So today I just want to talk about two things I've noticed. Number one being that startup culture, the kind of the tech startup culture is back in society, and also that markets are kind of all markets are very saturated, but that's also a good reason. I'll explain why. But let's start with the tech startups being back. Around like 2020, give or take a few years, startup culture was massive, and I was actually in the university for computer science. I didn't quite graduate. I'm only like one or two classes away, but I dropped out to pursue finance. But that's besides the point. But the idea was that I was there doing the tech startup kind of mentality that everyone had around 2020. And it's kind of back. I think one of the biggest case studies recently was Cal AI, where a team of under 20 people and a solo developer that used no code, low code kind of mentality that we call it. I think they call it flow coding now or something. But the idea is like the AI have really balanced and kind of equalized the requirements to create these kind of apps. I remember when it was a around 2020, it was always important that you had a team, like one person that can develop the app, one person that's good with business, etc. Now you can have one person running a whole company, right? And even today, when I mess with these AI software, I can create an app just as effectively and as well as a team of 5 to 6 people from 20 years ago. So that's very empowering for someone who can also develop. But AI being the great equalizer, and also with this coming the second age of startups, where maybe someone had a great idea but nobody to develop their apps. Now they have the opportunity to create that app, but also market it and all of that using the help of AI and maybe some other outsourcing material, right? But really, this is a cool thing because I feel like we're going to see a lot of interesting market changes. We're going to see some big headlines, and I'm very interested to see where this will go. And this kind of ties into the second idea I had, where the markets are saturated. So if you think about it, even like on YouTube, like there's no one pulling in consistent multi-million view content anymore. Even the YouTubers that I've used to watch, who could pull in 10 to 100 million views, they're pulling in less than a million views, sometimes even 30,000 views now. So markets are so saturated. People are all over the place, right? And that's good for you because there's going to be more niches, and the best of each niches are going to be the one that's going to win the new markets, right? Because no one can truly win them all. Like I remember when I first watched YouTube, Smosh and all of those kind of punny um, pre-Vine kind of YouTubers were very big, and they don't just like how they can't really exist anymore. Like if those people were to create just as contemporary content and just to be as funny, I don't think they can exist in that scale anymore, right? Because people are too spread out. So the markets are very saturated, and that's just not in YouTube. I think just think about an app idea, right? And if you search up that app idea, I'm sure there's going to be 6 apps making millions of dollars a year, multi millions of dollars a year, all successful. So markets are all saturated, but that's good for you because it's not winner take all, right? I remember like when Airbnb was big, it felt like no one was even using the other apps, right? Airbnb was massive. Or like when Uber was big, you would live somewhere but tell someone you Ubered there just out of like slang, syntax, whatever you may call it, culture. And there's no winner take all mentality anymore. And I think companies are realizing that. So instead of just focusing on one thing, like money is more dispersed. So if you are trying to kind of capitalize on these two things, you're more likely, right? But when you do succeed, you're not going to get that $1 billion venture capital, right? You may get acquired for a couple $1 million, but you're more likely to get acquired than ever before, right? So those are just two things I've noticed, and it's very interesting, kind of leading into my new philosophy and where I want to take my life. And and if I just want to update everyone, I've I've done pretty well career wise. So I make good money for myself right now in my day job, and I want to take it a step further. I think I thought about climbing the career ladder. I may have mentioned this in previous videos, but that is ultimately not rewarding enough, right? If you get paid an extra $5,000, $10,000 a month, I'm not going to retire a decade earlier. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. The math. That just doesn't math. I've done the math, and I think for me to really succeed and get everything I really truly want out of life, I have to at least try to go to the next level, and that's with this wave of saturation that's coming with, as well as AI evening the field. But I don't know. Let me know. Maybe you guys have something to add. Maybe you have a business idea. Just tell me anything. Thank you.